Great good morning, everyone. It is 9:11 and 15 seconds on my Cordaro watch. It's Friday, July 25th, 2025. Broadcasting today from the United States of America, the place where we're losing some great Americans like the Hulkster, like Chuck Mangione, who will play today. It's also the place where the brave, like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, courtesy of John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality, like John Capax, Great Bend, John Collender, Pittston, Paul Barrows, later Virginia Beach, Virginia, but he was from Scranton, Raymond Listansky, later Michigan, he was from Scranton, John Carmody, Pittston, and Bob Cayley, Orangeville, the United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers. That government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Government is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. It could not be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensured and codified freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. And we know when they're lying. Don't worry about it. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro show, well, it's always going to be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you, through our commitment to common sense, that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all in a world that's gone, whose leadership and a leadership class has gone mad. A cautionary reminder, though, it is not a safe harbor for stupidity. We will not suffer fools gladly, not because we don't love you, we do. But we don't have the time, okay? Well, it's Johnny's birthday today. I hate to be celebrating death on your birthday, Johnny. We're celebrating those who died, though. Let's clarify. And we're celebrating their lives on the day you celebrate your birthday. So we hope you're not bothered. Chuck Mangione died. He was an old, an alumnus of my college, University of Rochester, and had just some great, great music. I want to play just something for you. We'll be hearing him throughout the whole deal. This being, to me, a signature song by Chuck Mangione. By the way, we played Officer Tatum, who we love, and Victor Davis Hanson, who we love, talking about Trump's first 6 months. And then that was Hulk's. Murph found us Hulk's theme song. Now, I thought he sang in it or something, or I would have played the whole thing. But it was just whatever I guess he got introduced in. Bulldog, we got to play this again. I've always loved this song by Mangione. What's the name of this one? Feels so good. It is a great. It's his signature song, and I think everybody knows this song certainly of a certain age. Nice stuff. All right. So, hope you're all doing well on this Friday. They're going to have Rockin' the River. I mean, I don't know her, and I also understand that you can't control all of the parts of what you're doing and what is happening in county government. I understand both of those things. But Ramilda Crocamo, I'm just not seeing a lot of competence there, frankly. I'm not seeing it. And I know a little bit about running a county. And I don't see any interesting initiatives. My man Paul Lockett points out Chuck Mangione was born and died in Rochester. The Eastman School of Music he attended. But, yeah, it was handled in a ham-handed way. And, I mean, one of the great messengers of all time, Donald Trump, has screwed up on the Epstein thing, so it's not, it happens. But if it's the county's responsibility, Ramilda, you've got to look in on it. Okay, who did they schedule? And let's see if it's a lesson learned. Now, we found out that voter registration and the Voters Bureau in Luzerne County, they don't learn their lesson. Election after election after election, we have a disaster. Well, that's your job as executive director of the county, Ramilda Crocamo. That's your job. And your department has screwed up over and over and over again. So this little thing, and by the way, the thing I would have done before canceling the original act is say to, and they might have said no. Look, this is a family event. This is a non-political event. Please don't bring your nonsense into it. And if they disagreed, then you say, guess what? You can't play. And you explain to the people, hey, they've agreed not to talk politics on the stage, so we're going forward with them. Or they didn't agree to not talk politics, so we're canceling them. And then, I mean, the other part, bad luck. Somebody has an old charge of some sort. But I guess they're going, I had suggested they should have just got Lissa from KRZ. Lissa Kroenke. And, by the way, I'm looking at Trump and Powell, the head of the Fed, as Trump was touring this insanely over-budget construction project. You could Jerome Powell the head of the Fed is so uncomfortable here. He's got a hard hat on, I'm sure, for the first time in his life. And Trump's called him a goof. He's called him a dummy. He's called him. And Trump just comes and despite all that, Trump visits the construction site to find out what the hell's going on. They're $700 million over or something in that vicinity in the reconstruction of the Fed headquarters. And for Jerome Powell, looks like a hostage tape. By the way, happy birthday, Johnny. Somebody texted in. Congratulations on your new car. Did you get a new car, Bulldog, for your birthday? Oh, well, I was excited for a minute. You got a cat, though. Okay. All right. Well, that's something. That's not nothing. Now, why didn't you get the cat from Griffin Pond, where you work? They fired you? I mean, I don't. Was there? Did I give you any indication that I wanted to hear the whole story of the cat? I don't think I did. Did I? Did I? I don't think I did. You notice we have to do a commercial break, and you just forged ahead anyway. What are you taking? Birthday privilege here, or what are you doing? Why didn't you just say I got a cat? Yeah, I didn't. I didn't ask for the Gettysburg Address. All right, well, that's the Bulldog. It's his birthday. That is his final prerogative for his birthday. This is what happens during the commercial breaks and the news all the time. This is what happens all the time. He's a Bulldog. That's what he is. We'll take a break and be back. Had to let him reach that note. You don't have to cut it off yet, Bulldog. Let's hear him say it one more time, I hope. Yeah. Murph tells us Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons had the number one hit this date, 1964, with that great song. Hit it, Frankie. We're back. Now, before that, if you were mildly confused, it was an actor playing Ulysses S. Grant. After being named General of the Army, the first officer to hold that rank. And as brutal and sort of straightforward of a general as he was, he saved thousands and thousands of lives and all kinds of casualties because he finally won. Someone was willing to fight for the North and played a great part in keeping the country together. And then when he was president, very underrated, much maligned. He wasn't as corrupt. He had a lot of people around him that were, but a great American. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant. So it's Bulldog's birthday, so he has this cake that Jason bought. It was a discount cake, but it's really not bad. And so I have my extra chunky peanut butter and my honey, and I'm putting it on the cake. I'm contriving something here, and I think it's going to work out really well. I'll taste it on the next commercial break. So we're now 6 months into the Trump presidency. I don't think people are used to this frenetic activity. Like, if you remember all the stuff that Biden did and that the left does, they try to sneak it by you and you have to catch them. That was the 4 years of the Biden administration. Oh, what did they do now? Oh, they reversed Title IX and said men. It covers men also. Oh, they're pushing gender affirming care. Like the insane. How many illegals got across the border today? Which we're going to talk about next hour. I got to tell you, and I've met him a couple times, and I liked him. He seems fine. But this Lackawanna County commissioner, who will soon be the minority commissioner, because Marty Flynn is going to take whoever gets appointed. Marty Flynn, the state senator, is going to be in charge of the board of commissioners, and thank God Gaughan will be reduced to the background. He's a disaster, and he's a left-wing idiot. He made this speech saying that the policies of the Trump administration regarding ejecting illegal aliens makes him puke. Now, I go back to the original. These people aren't out and out stupid. Nobody is. Then why, if you are so pro-immigrant, why were you not pushing Bill Gaughan in the midst of all the disasters you created for Lackawanna County government? Why were you not pushing for legal immigration? I asked that yesterday. It is a rhetorical question. It's because they didn't want legal immigration. They wanted illegal immigration to cover up for their policy failures when the next census is taken. Because everybody's moving out where people like Gaughan are in charge. They're moving away because they're disasters. And they wanted illegal immigrants in those areas, so the census would allow them to keep state rep seats and U.S. House seats. And, of course, federal allocations of money. It's unbelievable. Somebody said, morning, Bob, LTS. All the lefties are screaming for the release of the Epstein file, but I haven't heard Bill Clinton asking for it. I know, Rodney, I know. Oh, that's a good line. Well, they weren't crying for it when Biden was in. Biden was in and had 4 years to release the stuff. And he didn't do it. But all of a sudden, Trump's hiding something. Look at, unfortunately, we have a group of people, Dummycrats, all the rest, who intentionally live a lie. I don't know what they perceive the benefit to be, but they intentionally live a lie. Their statements, their policies, their posturing is based on lies. Their voting, I don't understand why. Again, if we share, this is the reason there is no compromise with the Democrat Party of today. Zero. Because they don't share fact, truth, and reality with us. Just like the unfolding disgrace of Obama and his top intelligence coterie conspiring against the Trump presidency. Illegal? Whatever. That's for others to decide. Unethical? Disgraceful? Yes. As bad as Watergate? Worse. Abuse of power beyond anything we've ever seen. And so the Dummycrats will just ignore it like it didn't happen. Or they'll say, well, but Trump did this. Wait a minute. We're talking about what Obama did, the chosen one. It's a frightening thing. I mean, here's a Lackawanna County commissioner. Now, there's no way he could do a good job at that position. Not a chance. Because he doesn't understand what truth is. He doesn't understand what facts are. He doesn't live in reality. So how could you run it? I don't know. I doesn't make any sense. Somebody texts in, it's contract time in Lackawanna County. Will Democrat gone or will they be pro-union? See, I'm against unions for public employees. And unions like the SEIU, they take your money as a county worker, by the way, which you have the right to opt out of those dues. They take your money as a county worker to promote a left-wing lunatic agenda everywhere. They make you support lunacy as a county worker. Now, you've got to be protected from politicians. I not for a moment would I assume or trust politicians in dealing with workers. Democrat politicians being the worst, by the way, because they view it as a power struggle. Not, hey, I work for the county, please let me make a living. Anyway, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, way over because it's 9:30, 6:35 on my Picardo Jewelers watch. We'll be back. You know it. At your suggestions, we gave a new song every hour. We're mixing it up for our Veterans Tribute brought to you by John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Hey, it's Hollywood night, Saturday night at Sergei's. I keep forgetting the darn name, but she's from Jersey Housewives. Everybody loves her. I was in prison with her husband, actually, her former husband, Joe Judas. And he was a Trump supporter, by the way. But Basiliga Hospitality. Let's mention just three of the great properties, bar restaurants. Old Brook Inn, 307, Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. All fabulous. John Capax. He was just 46 when we lost him July 2nd. He was from Great Bend. He survived by the love of his life and devoted wife, Kara, the former Kara Cummings. Born in Scranton. 1997 graduate of Valley View High School. He proudly served this country in the United States Marines before an honorable discharge and serving time as a reservist. Semper Fi, it says in his obit. He last worked for DirecTV, and when he became ill, he remained resilient and brave and never complained. He loved detailing vehicles and antique cars. He was a Harley-Davidson man for life. He loved Halloween. He loved professional wrestling. He would have been saddened by the death of the Hulkster. A phenomenal human being. He was a loving husband, father, and brother who will forever be missed. Survived by his 3 children in addition to his wife, 3 siblings, and other family. John Capax. John Collender, Pittston. He was 88 when he died May 30th. His loving wife and sons by his side. Born in Avoca, he and his wife Phyllis shared 62 years of marriage. John and Phyllis were members of the Elm Park United Methodist Church, Scranton. He was a graduate of Avoca High School, University of Scranton, and attended the Penn State Extension in Dunmore as well, becoming a professional civil engineer and professional land surveyor. He retired from the PA Department of Transportation in Dunmore after 31 years. Longtime member, past president of the American Society of Highway Engineers. John served his country honorably in the U.S. Army for 5 years, the reserves. He was involved with the Boy Scouts in Moosic, and this is incredible. Both of his sons were active scouts and earned the rank of Eagle Scout. An incredible feat and honor to have 2 of your sons get there. He did something right, John Collender. He's survived by his beloved wife, Phyllis, those sons, also surviving grandchildren and other family members. John Collender, our great veterans, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And Basiliga Hospitality, spice up your weekend, hit one of those spots, man. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Anthony Bordonaro. Our guy, Joe Snedeker, he's on the road. He's going to be arriving from his big road trip for the Big St. Joseph's Festival, one of the most beautiful places on earth. So Bordonaro filling in. He says, today, sunny with a chance of thunderstorms, high 90. Tonight, warm and humid, low 70. Saturday, sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm, 90 again. Sunday, cloudy with scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, 90 again. How about that? The Left Bank. Murph tells us this date, 1965, they released their great hit. That's a nice song. Walk Away, Renee. I don't know what the words mean or what it's about, but not bad, huh? And that was Johnny Carson before that. He got it. That's why he was the greatest that ever did it. Late night host. These other idiots, Letterman too, though. Leno as well. And who's the big guy? Conan O'Brien. And who's the guy that Clinton played the saxophone on his show? He was good too. Anyway, it's you just look at it and you say, Johnny got it. Like, all right, here's the greatest who ever did it. All right, let's just think about this. The greatest who ever hosted a late night talk show. He delivers that message. Yeah, you could turn it into a platform, and then all kinds of bad things will happen. Didn't we just see that? So obviously, Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel don't get it. What's his name on NBC? He's just a pussy. I mean, there's nothing you can say about him. He's afraid of his own shadow. That's all that is. I don't know if he has political views. He's just afraid of his own shadow. But, why? All right, here's the greatest of all time giving the amazing piece of wisdom. Oh, let me ignore it because I'm better. Yeah, right. No, you weren't. That's why you're awful. One of the county employees says, I know they say they are pro-union, but not when it's contract time. Remember this. They're pro-union support. They're for unions supporting them. They're not for unions. The Democrats, they're not for unions in any way, shape, or form. They're for you supporting them. Arsenio Hall, I forgot his name. Thank you for that. That's amazing. Somebody says, LOL, great show, Bobby. Laughed my head off all morning. LTS back at you. Somebody says, do you like late show hosts being political, but you think Gutfeld would make a great late night host? He is a great late night host. Here's the difference, and you'd have to watch the show. They make fun of everybody. He's got a viewpoint, but they make fun of everybody. Huge difference. And by the way, they actually seek to be funny. They're not making political points for political points' sake. They're trying to be funny first and foremost. I don't care if you're a left-wing comedian. Try to be funny. Make that be the point. That's all. We'll be back. The Monkees, Murph says this date, 1966, they recorded their hit, Last Train to Clarksville. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. So, Johnny, what was the cake? What is it that Jason got you? It's really good. It's chocolate cake with what kind of icing? Peanut butter icing. All right, so the Bulldog's a little upset that I took a second piece because he gets to take what's left home, and that's one of the reasons we're having problems today. But, Bulldog, try this. Do you like chunky peanut butter? All right. Get your chunky peanut butter, put a little honey in it maybe, or not, depending on how you like it, and put it on the cake as you're eating it, on the chocolate part. It's really fabulous. Great taste combination, All right, in any event. So 2 quick things. I'm listening to the morning show as I do on my way in, and Nancy is so predictable for what the left is trying to shove off on you and ram down your throat. So I hear her say, I swear I think I heard this, and I'm sure I did, that it was disgraceful that they're interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell over the Epstein deal. I don't even know how to, but because it's Trump doing it, it's disgraceful. Well, where would you start? With his primary co-conspirator who you have leverage over because she's in federal prison? Yeah, I think that's where I'd start. Disgraceful. It just, they never cease to amaze me. And they pass around their memo, or they already know what they're going to say, and they just speak in, lockstep. And then the other article, I started to talk about it. So, unfortunately, some guy who ran a restaurant up in, and they haven't said. Now, I'm still looking for the restaurant that he ran. It's not. Write me a good story at least. If you're going to have a slant on this. It says restaurateur, or what, area people upset about, community rallying around restaurateur detained by ICE. Now, it doesn't say on the first page what restaurant. I'm just curious. So the guy's up at Pike County. I was in Pike County Prison for 4.5 weeks, and there were a lot of ICE detainees. When I was running Lackawanna County, we died for ICE detainees because they paid us. It helped subsidize the prison operation. In any event, that's a separate issue. Here it is, finally. Isabella's Eatery in Jefferson Township. That's where he was. Not Isabella's that we advertise on the radio. Isabella's Eatery in Jefferson Township. Different place altogether. So, of course you feel bad for the guy. But he broke the law. He was here illegally. I'm trying to figure out what part of this I missed. Somebody said it was Lenore's restaurant in Moscow. He was arrested at Isabella's. Okay, but I don't know. In any event, what's the point? It's sad. Oh, and then Commissioner Gaughan is puking. Because someone who, I was separated from my family. I don't get it. I really don't get this nonsense. Why this guy, all the time he's here, why didn't he apply for legal citizenship? Isn't it his fault? Does anybody have any responsibility for anything anymore? Nice guy. Most of the illegals are good people. They go through amazing efforts to get into this country. The vast majority would make great Americans. But we're missing the point. Get here legally. Learn about this country. Become American. The Democrat Party, the left-wing lunatics, they want them to not be part of this country because they hate the American culture. They hate the American ideals. And they want people to come in to disrupt it by the millions. Oh, and also to protect their congressional seats and state representative seats. Yeah, well, that's another really good benefit. I don't get it. So the guy's here for years, never makes an effort to become an American citizen. He gets taken away because he's here illegally, and it's like it's a horrible thing that the ICE has done, that Trump has done. No, it was a dumb thing that he did. And it's sad, and I feel for the guy, and I know exactly where he is in Pike County Prison. I get it. But what's making Commissioner Gaughan puke? Please tell me. Unbelievable. All right. Well, I'm way over because my Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it is 10:04 and 28 seconds. And reminding you, Cordaro, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, and Seiko. Yeah, it's your watch store. We'll be back after the news. Great good morning, everyone. 10:11 and 42 seconds on my Cordaro Jewelers watch here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, July 25th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today. John Colander, Pittston. John Capax, Great Bend. Paul Barrows, late of Virginia, but he was from Scranton. Raymond Listansky, late of Michigan, from Scranton. John Carmody, Pittston. And Bob Cayley, Orangeville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Where's my gavel? There it is. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. We'll get back to this immigration thing shortly. Nobody cared about the 300,000 kids who were brought in here. Where was Bill Gaughan's crocodile tears for them? These people are liars. They're disgusting. But, see, when I think of somebody like Gaughan, I think of something great, like the Jazz Festival coming next weekend. And we hear more Chuck Mangione the day after his passing. The U of R graduate, Rochester guy. Always had a soft spot for him because of that. And we are joined by our man Marco Marcinko and Sarah Efforts, who are in charge of this whole thing. And welcome, guys. How are you?
Hey, Bob.
It's hard to believe we're back at this again. It seems like yesterday we were talking about this.
The year flew by. The year flew by, Bob, and we're celebrating 20 years this year.
It's remarkable what you guys have done. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Sarah, you've been involved since when?
I've been involved since about the second or third year for the Jazz Festival.
Wow.
So I'm going on 18 years.
Wow. Who wants to tell us all about it? Give everybody, maybe people hadn't heard about it or haven't attended it, and they would like to know, what is it?
Go ahead, Sarah.
Sure.
Why don't you give them the nuts and bolts?
Sounds good. So the annual Scranton Jazz Festival, as you said, is celebrating its 20th year anniversary. We could hardly believe it.
Yeah.
Takes place the first weekend of August, which will be August 1, 2, and 3. And Friday night, we kick off with our traditional jazz walk, which is that New Orleans style walk around the city. It's free to the community. We've got bands playing in about 25 different venues downtown, which are bars, restaurants, different eateries, galleries, and banks. So wherever you go, Bob, on Friday night, you're going to hear music. It's going to fill the streets every corner you turn. And then Saturday, we'll continue the jazz walk as well at a handful of venues, but the big one is our headliner event, Tower of Power, and they are a powerhouse. So they are going to be playing at the Scranton Cultural Center, which is a ticketed event. Don't want to miss that. And then on Sunday, we kick off the day in the morning with jazz brunches. We'll have music at various places, about 6 different places, like the Hilton, the Radisson, Posh, Voodoo Brewing, where you can grab some brunch and kick around in the afternoon and join us back at the Cultural Center on Sunday night at 6 o'clock for the Emmy-nominated Scranton Jazz Festival Big Band, which will be playing, and we've got a number of guest artists that are going to be joining us and featured throughout that show. And it's kind of a celebration, of course, of the 20 years. So a handful of artists who've been with us, here and there in years past. And we'll have a great storytelling time and narration during that show as well. Of highlighting different histories of the Jazz Festival and its music. So that's the weekend in a quick, brief nutshell.
Sarah, you almost sound like you know what it's all about.
I'm trying, Bob. I'm trying.
That sounds so good, and I know because I've experienced it every year for a number of years. Boy, when Marco, we talked about this last week when you decided to disperse the activity instead of having it all in one site. It really energized the whole thing, didn't it?
Well, we brought it into the downtown for a number of reasons. One, economic development for the bars and for the restaurants and for the retail spaces, and to show off our city, to show off some of the great things that are happening in our city, especially with all these murals that have been happening with the mural project program that Rose Randazzo Pizzuto's behind. So we have a big band mural on Wyoming Avenue that people could see the Dorsey Brothers and the Scranton Sirens and Duke Ellington and Russ Morgan. And these are significant people that have played a part in the history of jazz in our Scranton city. So that's a wonderful thing. And then the other thing was, after COVID, we moved it from one gathering location because, it was tough to gather everyone together in one location, and we spread it out. And it made the feeling of that New Orleans kind of French Quarter thing come to life even more. So you haven't been to New Orleans and you want to experience a mini New Orleans for a weekend, I promise you, if you come to the Scranton Jazz Festival on August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you'll get a real flavor and a taste of that. And nothing is better than having great food, great drinking spirits, great socializing, great live music, all put together to have a great time in downtown Scranton.
Well, guys, you don't know how much those of us who love Scranton, love Northeast Pennsylvania, appreciate you doing what you do every year and putting this all together. It's a gargantuan task.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Wouldn't you agree, Sarah?
Absolutely. It's grown tremendously over the years. It's been exciting to be a part of that. Make that happen for the city.
So next, go ahead.
Bob, let me just jump in and say we planned this. After the festival is over and we gather our nuts and berries per se, we start planning for the next year because it takes months upon months to cultivate this thing and to do something and to always try to do a little something new. We always try to bring something new to the festival each and every year. So we're really proud that we're able to score the great funk legendary band Tower of Power this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing on Saturday night at the Scranton Cultural Center. And we're really happy that some of our artists from over the 20 years are going to join us again, as Sarah was saying, at the Scranton Cultural Center on Sunday. And the Jazz Walk's going to be explosive, as it always is. So, yeah, definitely. Sarah, what about we have a shuttle service too, right?
Yeah, our good friends over at the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau, they've been a great partner with helping with providing the trolley service and shuttle service that will run throughout the downtown Friday and Saturday night. And it's just going to circuit through all the streets. You can hop on, hop off, free of charge to get from one venue to the next. So that's a lot of fun too. We talk about that New Orleans vibe. We've got trolleys, Bob.
Oh, neat. Well, there's nothing missing, but I tell you this, I say it and I admit it every year. I'm a Marco Marcinko fan. So I follow him around almost like a stalker. To see where he's playing.
Easy.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
Yes, it deserves no commentary. Well, guys, great to have you on. I hope I could talk to you next week because we want to remind people in all hours of this program about this great jazz festival in downtown Scranton. Next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's exciting.
ScrantonJazzFestival.org, O-R-G, for all tickets and more information. ScrantonJazzFestival.org, please.
Nice. Well, thank you guys. Sarah Efforts, Marco Marcinko, thank you for doing this, and thank you for coming on the program to talk about it, because anybody who goes, they're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Bob. We appreciate your support, too.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay,
right,
bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Scranton Jazz Festival, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, downtown Scranton. Don't miss it. We'll be back. The Beatles. And what a great version that is. They recorded George Harrison's hit, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, this date back in 1968, Murph tells us. In 1952, Puerto Rico became a self-governing Commonwealth of the United States. And the self-governance hasn't worked out too well. So maybe we've got to take them over and help them out. I don't know. I want to get back to this this immigrant story, illegal immigrant story. But my man Joe Middleton's on the blower calling regarding Chuck Mangione. You've run across almost everybody, Joe.
Well, not everybody, but pretty damn close, my friend. I was out walking my Shih Tzu, and I came in and I heard Marco and the lady on about the festival. So I don't know if he mentioned that within the 20 years he had Chuck Mangione up here in Scranton, and also there's a regional connection. At the height of the beginning of the height of Chuck's career, when he had all the action going on with the Olympics, two guys from the Poconos, the late Rick Chamberlain, who was the co-founder of the Delaware Water Gap Celebration of the Arts, and Jim Daniels, whom was a student of Chuck's up at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester. They played and toured and recorded, especially the big album, the Tarantella album, that they did up in Rochester for the people in Italy at the time of the devastation of a flood and all that. That was probably 77, 78, 79 era.
Yeah.
And Chuck and Larry Coryell played WILKs early in their careers when Fusion was just coming to front. And then, of course, Marco had Chuck at the Jazz Festival here in Scranton. Prior to that, he played at the U and Masonic Temple, and he was just a super great guy, and he afforded me so many opportunities to talk and visit and go to gigs with them, and had the pleasure to produce a radio one-hour documentary with them.
Really?
96 PCN up in the Poconos, the original Mount Airy owned the station, talking about all the famous cats that lived in Delaware Water Gap and the Poconos, and specifically Rick Chambers and Jim Daniels. So a big connection. And Marco also, as Chuck did, early in his career, he was out with Maynard Ferguson. And then later on, our Marco went out and was a drummer in the Maynard Ferguson Orchestra. So we have a lot of great jazz music history here throughout northeastern Pennsylvania, especially in the Pocono, Delaware Water Gap area.
I was at Settlers Inn with my cutie on Wednesday night, and they had jazz night that night. It was really pretty nice. And I told the musicians, I said, we have a jazz festival going on next weekend. Are you in it? And they were, well, no. And it was almost, I was busting them a little bit. Because you're not in our jazz festival, are you?
Well, you're probably good at breaking cajones.
It's a speciality, as they say.
Yeah,
as the British say.
I'm right there with you at times. Also, this coming Monday is a big historic day in the entertainment and music and radio business of northeastern Pennsylvania. It's the 60th anniversary of the Warm Day 1965, which was the biggest day ever, as he told me, the late Ben Sterling told me, and then it was documented by Billboard's sister publication, Amusement Business. Throughout the day, Sterling claims, and somehow had it documented with the Pennsylvania State Police, that there was over 50,000 people through the park to see to participate in a Warm Day and to see the evening concert headlined by an adopted native son, favorite son of northeastern Pennsylvania, Dunmore, Lackawanna County, Frankie Valley in the Four Seasons.
Yeah,
it was just remarkable.
And, Warm, that's a whole other subject. They have Warm Radio had, 60% of the radio audience at one time? It was insane.
Outside of the major markets, and including the major markets, if you broke down statistically some of the ratings by Hooper Pulse at the time, there was no ARB. Warm had, especially in the evening, 70% of the audience, and throughout the rest of the day, they had between 50 and 60% of all the available listeners throughout the region. There were 5,000 watts, 590 AM, which means the lower on the dial, the higher wattage you have.
Yep.
They were a blowtorch. They were like a 50,000 watt WABC, CKLW out of Toronto, Canada, LS, Chicago, Wibbage and Philly. You could go on, and they were just legendary. And what they meant to the record business, if the promoters could get the guys at a warm day especially, or even on a warm playlist, it just busted an act wide open.
Yeah. Well, Joe Middleton, you are an historian extraordinaire for our local music and radio scene and all that. By the way, Marco Marcinko texts and he says, Joe is preaching the truth. He's telling it straight up.
Yeah, and also we'd be remiss if we didn't comment on a friend of ours and a good friend of yours who's going to give the eulogy, his sister told me. John Toronto will eulogize the late Pittston City Councilman and fabulous musician who kept the tradition of Italian ethnic music going, Samuel Danny Argo, who'll be buried on Monday at our
Danny
Radio
Argo died. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, St. Joseph's Morello Monday morning.
John Toronto made him famous. That's what John says.
Well, I don't want to get into that pee and match and dispute it.
Hey, but Joe Middleton, Danny Argo, he sounds like he should be famous. I'm sorry he passed,
man.
though.
There'll be stories living on for another century, probably, because of Danny.
Oh, nice. Well,
and
Joe,
as crazy as he was, no more than myself, he was a great public servant. He cared about the people, just like you did when you were in office.
Well, Joe Middleton, thank you so much. You call in anytime, you know that. And thanks for your reminiscence on Chuck Mangione as well. He was a University of Rochester guy. That's why I always followed him.
Eastman School of Music.
Yep. Love it. Thank you.
Okay, likewise. I appreciate the courtesy and consideration.
Always, Joe. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous program, rolls on with a Veterans Tribute after we hear from our outstanding sponsors. veteran song by the Allens. We're playing a little more of it than we normally do because it's a new rotation of songs we're running at your suggestion, and we love them all. Our great veterans tribute this hour and every hour. This day and every day brought to you by John Basiliga and his incredible Basiliga hospitality. We talked about the Old Brook, the Far Street Tavern, and Queen City Tavern in the first hour. Let's talk fine dining. Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. Go back in time when elegance reigned. Stegmeyer Mansion and a Terra 519. I'm going to the Jazz Brunch Sunday. Can't wait. Paul Barrows. He was 84 when he died July 3rd. Late of Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was a Scrantonian, though. Born in Scranton, 1959, graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School. He proudly served us in the U.S. Army for 2 years. He was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. During his early years in Pennsylvania, he worked at International Salt and then Gould Battery. Could often be found with a fishing rod in his hand, nicknamed affectionately Froggy. He played basketball during his time as Tech and always appreciated a sharp Van Heusen shirt. Preceded in death by his wife, Patricia Barrows. He's survived by his 2 children, stepchildren, and 3 step-grandchildren, as well as 1 step-great-grandchildren and other family members. Paul Barrows. Raymond Listansky. He died June 23rd at age 100. Born in 1924 in Scranton. Beloved husband of the late Ethel Listansky. Loving father, grandfather, great-grandfather. His family says he was a friendly, intelligent, and kind man. He went to Scranton Tech School as well. That's why I say it's great. He enlisted in World War II in the Army, was promoted to the Air Force as an officer, trained as a pilot, navigator, and bombardier for the B-17 and A-29, and attained the level of lieutenant. After World War II ended, he was asked to continue his service, and he did so in the Air Force Reserves for 20 years, attaining the level of major. He attended Johnson College for carpentry and machining, and he worked in those fields for Lockheed Martin, building their factory when it was called Daystrom. He then got a job as a machinist at Daystrom, promoted to foreman, general foreman, and then plant manager. While working there, he attended the University of Scranton and earned an associate's degree in business management. He devout Catholic, involved in the church at St. Gregory's in Clark's Green. Lector, sang in the choir. Ray Listansky. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast meteorologist Anthony Bordenaro. Today, sunny with a chance of thunderstorms, high 90. Tonight, warm and humid, low 70. Saturday, sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm, high 90. Sunday, cloudy with scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, high 90. This date, 1970. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Murph says they released their great album, Cosmos Factory. Murph picked Traveling Band from that album. Just want to go back to this story. Damian Vargas. Now, he ended up owning 3 restaurants. It's hard to call it buried in the story, but it says on July 23rd, 2019, 5 years ago, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services issued a notice to appear charging the subject, meaning the illegal, as removable pursuant to Section 212 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Okay. According to the ICE statement on February 21st, 2023, while Bill Gaughan's idol, Joe Biden, was the president, an immigration judge in Philadelphia ordered the subject removed from the United States. Somebody texted it in. Yes, it's his fault. He can open 3 restaurants, but can't do the legal work to stay here. And the listener says, I don't understand. Well, neither do I. How is that Trump's fault or ICE's fault? And we feel sorry for people who get in situations all the time of their own doing or not of their own doing. So how does this make you puke, Gaughan? How exactly does this make you puke? I don't get. I mean, these people are like children. That's what a child would do. They wouldn't say, well, what are the circumstances? He says, well, I don't know the circumstances. And then he goes on anyway about the cruelty. Tell me where the cruelty comes in. Please tell me where the cruelty comes in. I don't understand it. I want to understand. But see, I guess I'm not going to be able to because you've got no sense behind your rant, Commissioner Gaughan. Now, a sensible person, someone who is qualified at what he does, would say, yeah, it's a shame. Boy, I wish he got his paperwork done. Man, I hope he can straighten it out. And leave it at that. No, not Gaughan. Not our incompetent commissioner. Fool, he's an absolute fool. I've heard him on all these issues. It's every left-wing, stupid, childish position. Democrat Lackawanna County Commissioner Bill Gaughan, a vocal critic of the Trump administration and its immigration policies, says he doesn't know Damian or the specifics of his situation. But then he goes on anyway. Why wouldn't you? See, if he didn't have a pea brain, if he wasn't an idiot, he would have said, I don't know the specifics. I really can't comment. But then he's... So, I don't know anything about it, but let me tell you what I think. He thinks it's a disgrace. They're going after people that don't deserve to be treated like this. And it makes me want to puke that they're doing it. That someone was here illegally, visibly, in the community, did not do what he was supposed to do to stay here. And then finally, after 5 years, the law catches up to him. I apologize, 6 years. 6 years to straighten this out. Some reports he was here for 20 years. He had stuff to protect. He had 3 businesses. Well, how is that ICE's fault? How is it cruel? How does it make you puke, Bill Gaughan? Do you see the kind of idiots we're dealing with here? Somebody says, Bob, tell Commissioner Gaughan to go to a country of his ancestry. Yeah, go to Ireland. Overstay your visa or vacation, decide to live there. Wendy says, they'll throw him out in a minute. Again, they argue like children. There's literally nothing behind their discussion. So why don't you at least be mature enough to shut up? I don't know anything about it, but but I'm going to go on about it because I'm ignorant and I don't care. I've got a lot to say in my ignorance. What is wrong with these people? How do you have a conversation with someone that idiotic? Wow. No wonder taxes went up 25% and the assessment is so screwed up. And there's no third commissioner. Thank you, Bill Gaughan. Give us more. We'll be back. That's a cool song, isn't it? Mungo Jerry, Murph says, moving up the charts with their hit in the summertime. This date, 1970. And everybody remembers that song or has heard it since. Hey, let me not forget Mother Teresa. And first of all, Mary Regina tells me there's only 2 more days for the St. Anne Novena. On Sunday, the 27th, is St. Anne's Day, the culmination of this amazing event in West Scranton. If you haven't gotten there, get there, please. A buddy of mine on Instagram, Tim Ferguson, he's posting pictures every day from different spots of St. Anne's. And, I mean, go there. You believe me. Mother Teresa for today. She says, I believe that many people today think the poor are not humans like them. They look down on them. But if they had a deep respect for the poor, I'm sure it would be easy for them to come closer to them and see that they have as much right to the things of life and to love as anyone has. St. Teresa for July 25th. Always inspirational, always on point. And just to mention, Zacarias Moussaoui. We're going to remind you what these Islamist terrorists and extremists, they believe they can lie according to their religion. They've perverted the Muslim faith to such an extent. Moussaoui, who was involved and in 9/11, he said, I didn't do it. They lie. It's part of the strategy. And they think it's justified. They never tell the truth, period. Islamists are the scourge of the world. And it's, by the way, somebody corrected me. Saturday, July 26th is the St. Anne feast day. My apologies. So today, I wasn't counting today. My fault. A bunch of you texted in. Yes, St. Anne's feast day is tomorrow. The 20. So we named my youngest daughter. I have 5 kids. Well, my only daughter. We named her Anna after my mother's Anne Marie. My grandmother on the Slovak Polish side was Anna, and it was St. Anne's Day when she was born. Well, the day after, the 27th. Anna was born. So July 26th is the feast day. Thank you for that, guys. By the way, somebody else points in. Robert, taxes went up. Lackawanna County taxes under Gahan went up 33%, not 25%. Please stop issuing false narratives, ALTS. Yeah, far be it from me to cover up for Gahan and his idiocy. Oh, my God. And then, remember, he gave the speech for King's Day. That lie of a protest. He's a liar. He loves lies. He loves lies. He bathes in them. Disgusting. Mary Regina says, yes, thank you, Bobby. Tomorrow is St. Anne's feast day. Beautiful. So that's the thing. All right. We've got calls we want to get to, but you know what I have to get to first? Because I'm looking at my Picardo Jewelers watch. And remember, they've got Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, and the one I have, a Picardo watch, tells me it's 11:02 and 21 seconds. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. 11:08 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch here in the great Northeast. This beautiful but hot and sweltering Friday, July 25th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and it's the weekend, so think Basiliga hospitality. It's time, though, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today. Like Raymond Listansky, late of Michigan, but this 100-year-old was born in Scranton. Paul Barrows, Virginia Beach, he was also born and raised in Scranton. John Colander, Pittston. John Capax, Great Bend. John Carmody, Pittston, and Bob Cayley, Orangeville. So with history, our great founding fathers, the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because of our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you. Yep. So somebody says Lackawanna County taxes went up 33%, and there's no manpower at the roads and bridges. They all left. And, I mean, the county's got a lot of roads and a lot of bridges. Well, it's incompetence. Gahan is incompetent, and you cannot fail. It's just like Mayor Many Names in Scranton. If you don't understand fact, truth, and reality, or don't care to, how can you conceivably do a good job? It's impossible. That's Bill Gahan. That's Mayor Cognetti. Disgraceful. And by the way, it's no coincidence that they disgraced this area on top of their job performance by naming the expressway and the street in Scranton after Joe Biden, the disgusting husk of nothing. Yeah. Rich from West Pittston says, hi, Bob LTS. On the lighter side, only 5 months till Christmas. Thanks, Rich. Yes, it is. All right, well, we've got some patient callers, and we've got to go, and we've got to catch up with them. First, Jimmy from Pittston on Hulk Hogan. How are you, Jimmy?
Oh, my Bob Cordaro. What did you do to Hulk Hogan and Chuck Mangione?
I love them both, so it couldn't be my fault.
No, I've been watching him for years, and he really was a good man, Hulk Hogan. Do you know he had the foundations up for poor children? They brought that up in the news. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he was a load of fun. Going back to, like, I think he emerged in everyone's consciousness when he was Thunder Lips in the Rocky III movie.
Yeah, I didn't like him in that. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, he was acting all the time, you know. He was a bad guy in that. And then he became a good guy because he was so bad in WWE.
And I noticed a very strong Republican. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I always thought he was a Democrat. I did.
He had me fired up at the Republican convention last year. We played that.
He was there. Yeah.
When we found out he passed in the last hour of the show, and we played the Hulkster at the Republican convention. Yeah.
And very, very close to Trump. He had that famous picture a year ago taken with Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be missed.
And was it the same? Did they both die the same day? Chuck Mangione too. I think the same day.
Yeah, I think so.
Hours.
I think so. Mangione was yesterday. I heard about yesterday anyway.
Much more difference. 81. Chuck. I think it was
83. I think, but yeah.
Oh, 83. Yeah. Oh my God. And isn't it funny how he was inspired to play the trumpet? He was 10 years old, and at about that time, that famous movie came out based on a true story. Kirk Douglas, a young man with the horn.
Well, I don't know that movie. Huh.
Yeah, it brought that out on another talk show for about 5 minutes about him. He was inspired with that movie. He was 10, and he went out, he got a trumpet, and started taking the trumpet solos.
How about that? Huh.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Doris Day is in it, Lauren Bacall, and Kirk Douglas. A young man with a horn. It's based on a true story, too.
Now, I did not know that he was a Rochester guy. My friend Paul pointed it out, who's a fellow University of Rochester alumnus, which Mangione was, which is why I always had a soft spot and loved Mangione, because he graduated from, fellow college graduate.
Point you made. I didn't know that he's from there. I know. Was he Italian? Is Mangione an Italian name? I'm not sure. It's Italian?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the mother was, though, if you want to check his background. I don't think so.
Neat,
but
though.
we like two celebrities. Oh, my God.
Well, and then Theo from the Cosby Show. He died yesterday, the day before or something.
Terrible. He drowned. Well, I have to go to Wake Sunday. I don't know if you're so involved in any politics. One of our councilmen died. I'm sure you heard of Danny Argo. He's on the Pittston Council. And professional musician, guitar player. That's at Graziano's. If you want to come, I'll meet you. It's this Sunday, 3 to 7 at Graziano's, this Sunday.
Well, I'm involved a little bit in some things on Sunday, but I didn't know he was being... Well, Joe Middleton came on to talk about Mangione and reminded us that my friend Attorney John Toronto was going to be doing the eulogy for Danny Argo. Great stuff.
Yes, they're very close. They've been friends for 50 years. Very close, the lawyer. Yeah. I knew that, yeah.
Neat stuff, Jimmy. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Love you. God bless you always. Love you.
All right,
Bye.
man. He has blessed me. Thank you. There was something. Oh, last night, before I get to the next call. Last night, Bobby Pettinato, the former county commissioner, we've had him on. He tells great stories of his days in politics. We've had him on a number of times. We went over to Villa Maria last night with Mark Schuchter and Joe Mesco, and we had Bobby Parlante, who's Bobby Pettinato's golf partner, but he's from South Carolina. We had a great time. Joe was there. I had veal franchise as good as I ever had it, as good as anything I've ever eaten over at Villa Maria. And then the company was extraordinary. So, what a good night last night. And we were on the outside so we could smoke cigars while we were eating. Oh, just a great evening. Just wanted to mention that because I enjoyed it. But, it's funny. We're all getting older. We're getting older, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm leaving, I'm like the young buck in the crew. And I'm like an old fogey. But at least we're still getting together and still doing it. But, man, yeah, Villa Maria, good stop on it, especially on a warm night so you can be outside. All right, let's go to my friend Judy Zabel. Hi, Judy. How are you?
I'm good, Bob. How are you?
Great.
Good. I wanted to invite you and your listeners to our Marjorie Scranton Republican Women fundraiser at Glenmara Country Club, August 10th. And it's a brunch, 11 to 2. The cost is $40 per person or $75 for two people. And Stacey Garrity will be our speaker. We are honoring Robin Medeiros and Kristen Nash this year.
Neat.
And so I'm hoping that we have a good turnout for these ladies. They've done so much for our party and for our women's group.
And this is August 10th. What time at Glenmora?
11 till 2. And there will be basket raffles. And we're just going to have a good time. That's
nice. Well, listen, you make sure you call again about this because, people like me need to be reminded more than once.
Is that the age creeping up, Bob?
I don't know. I was always this way.
Oh, Okay, yes,
Yeah.
I will do that.
All right. So let's repeat it. The Republican Women's Fundraiser, August 10th at Glen Morris, starting at 11 o'clock. So it's going to be a nice affair. You can tell that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great stuff, Judy Zabel. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, my darling. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Bye, Bob.
We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous program. We're going to roll on after we hear from our great sponsors. A little history, a little music. And then if you want to talk to me or text 570-883-0098. The Moody Blues, Murph tells us. They had the number one album with Long Distance Voyager. It was their comeback album, this date, 1981. Murph chose The Voice. I'm a Moody Blues fan. I would never, go out of my way to see them in a concert, but when they come on, I always enjoy the music. And before that, Jeffrey Epstein, the man in the news 5 years after his death, when he, I believe, tried his first suicide attempt. I think he was doing suicide by roommate. I think he paid or convinced the guy who was in his cell with him to try to kill him. He wanted to die. And I got to tell you, from a guy with 8.5 years experience in the penal system, the federal penal system, and another 13 months home confinement, and another 2 years after that of supervised release, they're horrendously incompetent. You ever hear when I give that saying, don't confuse our incompetence for a conspiracy? They look the same, but they're very different. The people at the Bureau of Prisons, government in general, massively incompetent. Horrible at their jobs. Almost nobody cares. And they do not care about the prisoners. Not one whit. Please tell me. Number one, they don't even care who Jeffrey Epstein is. They don't care if he kills himself. They don't care. Especially in the prison he was in. These people are trying to get by on a $60,000, $70,000 salary working in Manhattan. Come on. They're thinking about their next job or how the hell they're going to pay the next bill. They're not thinking about Jeffrey Epstein. He killed himself. That I guarantee you. I'm telling you. I guarantee you. And I've got a guy that I respect. He didn't spend as much time in prison as I did, but close. Michael Francis. He thinks he committed suicide or didn't commit suicide. He thinks he was killed. And I say, not a chance. And I will bet that I spent more time in the whole special housing unit than Mike Francis did. So it's what it is, you know? It's just what is. And it's like, you've got to figure out, again, heard Nancy this morning saying it's a disgrace that they went to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. And the Trump haters are like, well, it's some kind of it's part of the cover-up. What? That's exactly who I would go to. She was the procurer-in-chief. Now, obviously, you go to the victims, but each individual victim, and there were hundreds of them, if not thousands, like, the only one that knows the breadth of the conspiracy is Ghislaine Maxwell, the only one alive. So stop. So he said, hey, Bob ALTS, I think it's a sad state of affairs that Epstein was only going to get up to 45 years for all that he did. The kidnapping, the torture, rape, and abuse of countless young women and girls, and only 45 years. Granted, he probably wouldn't have lived those 45, but it still seems like a light sentence compared to all he did. I don't know that that's all he was eligible for. Because remember, if you're convicted of multiple counts, he was spending the rest of his life in prison. And I tell the story, and it's sad but true. A friend of mine I was in prison with, he was a white-collar guy. And he said he's getting sentenced by a judge. And the judge says to the guy before him, whose lawyer's saying, hey, he's got terminal cancer, he's really sick, all of this. And the judge says, well, you just go to prison and do what you can do. And the guy said, I knew I was screwed then. Just do what you can do. Oh, Lord. But, yeah, I mean, it's like this Savage Kohlberger out in Idaho. He got a life sentence. Like, you can't do much more. You can kill him, but then all the appeals will just waste time and money. So you get him in jail for consecutive life sentences. He never gets out. 45 years for a 60-some-year-old man, 66-year-old man like Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, there's not much more you could do. Just for example, Bernie Madoff, he got 150 years. Well, if they gave him 20 years, he wasn't going to live that long. So, I know what you're saying, but by the way, my man Slabjacker having a problem with the Odyssey app, Audacy. He says once it goes to a commercial, comes back, it restarts the whole show. Huh. I've heard a lot of problems with this, Slabjacker. I don't know the solution. Bulldog, report this to Bill France, our engineer. Would you, Bulldog? Let's let him know the Odyssey app is misfiring because Slabjacker's not the only one who told me about this. Because a lot of people listen on the app. And, yeah, they don't want to be fighting through. They just want to hear me rant and rave and all of that. You don't want to hear the same rant over again, right? But, yeah, the Epstein thing, listen, they misfired terribly. And again, I know my man Larry from Plymouth disagrees with me. I think Trump just saw and really got disgusted. And remember, Trump loves attention, too. So he's not getting the attention when Epstein's getting the attention. This is my observation of Trump. And Trump's accomplishments, which are legion, are not getting attention as long as we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And he tried to short circuit it for that reason and that reason alone. That's my belief. And it's an informed opinion, by the way. And the reason I 99 and 3/4% pure, like ivory soap, that I'm that certain that Donald Trump is not part of any of this information is, number one, he kicked him out of his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, number one. They had a falling out. Trump doesn't talk about what it is, but they did years ago. And so that's number one. Number two, Biden's people would have released it if he was part of it. They wouldn't have hesitated. Somebody says, Bob ALTS, I have you beat. 14 years at state. But the other side of the bars than you. Guards general, you were a guard. All right. Guards generally CO. We prefer CO. Guards generally don't care as you state, but inmates taught, badger, and egg on suicide for pedophiles and weaklings. Yes, they do. They literally cheer for the suicidal inmate to hang himself. Seen it and been there and heard it. Amen. Epstein would have been, he would have been in protective custody within the prison for the rest of his life. That's why I know he did it. He wasn't going to have sex with his little girls. He wasn't going to have his mansions and his jets and his hobnobbing. And he said, wow, it's over. He knew they had him dead to rights. He couldn't stand to not have sex like 5 times a day. How was he going to bear it in prison? Not possible. And he killed himself. Period. That part, no dispute, in my view. The rest of it, but yes. And by the way, I look at COs now. And there were some rare few that were good to me. But I look at COs now, and it's like, how would you look at an opposing player? Right? 10 years after you get out of high school or college, you'd have actually some fond reminiscence. So I'm not anti-CO, I promise you that. I certainly was when I was in, that's for sure. All right, let us take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. My Picardo Jeweler watch tells me it's 11:33:09. We'll be back. Our veterans today, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. He does it every hour of every day. Think Basiliga hospitality on this great weekend. I know I'll be at a couple of his spots, including the Jazz Brunch at Atera. Cutie's going to be there for Hollywood night with Teresa Giudice Saturday night at Sergei's. Old Brook, 307 Street, Springbrook Township, Far Street Tavern, the great Trips Park section of West Side. You want to talk about veterans? They came from Trips Park. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. All fabulous. John Carmody, he was 86. We lost him June 25th. He was from Pittston, PA, formerly of Middletown, New York. He's survived by his loving wife of 62 years, Helen Lunny, his daughter, well, two daughters, grandchildren, and other family members. Graduate of Walden High School, class of 57. He enlisted in the U.S. Army, and proudly served all of us from 1957 to 1960. After this service, he graduated from Orange County Community College. He worked as a sales engineer at Spence Engineering, Walden, New York, for 36 years until retirement. John and his wife, Helen, traveled extensively after retirement. They loved going to Broadway shows. Despite being very active in retirement, John also enjoyed slowing down and spending time with his family, especially being pop to his grandchildren. John Carmody. Robert Bob Cayley, former Fishing Creek Township supervisor. He was 91, living in rural Orangeville, otherwise known as Fishing Creek Township. He died July 12th at home. Born on Sunshine Road, Shikshinny, graduate of Huntington Mills High School. He was employed by Claire Hawk Construction and later HRI until his retirement in 1993. He was a member of the International Union of Operating Engineers for more than 60 years. With his strong work ethic, he also spent most of his life working his Fish Creek Township farm. He faithfully and honorably served his country in the U.S. Army from 1956 to 1958. Bob was founding member and faithful member of Christ the King Catholic Church in Benton. An avid outdoorsman, Phillies fan, he loved deer hunting. Surviving are his wife, Margaret Peg Kramer Callie, to whom he was married in 1992. His children, his grandson, 5 stepchildren, and his great-grandchildren and other family members. Preceded in death by his first wife, Deanna, a daughter, tragically, Brenda Cayley. Bob Cayley, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast meteorologist Anthony Bordenaro. Today, sunny with chance of thunderstorms, 90 degrees. Tonight, warm and humid, 70. Saturday, sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm, 90. Sunday, cloudy with scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, 90 degrees. So, hazy, hot, humid. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK and the eponymous program. Joe from Trips Park texting, we all know what happens to people like Epstein in prison. And Epstein did too. I think he did kill himself, especially once he knew he wasn't getting out. See, he thought, he tried to kill himself before he even found out, finally, with finality, I should say, that he wasn't getting bail. He was never leaving prison. Now, once he found that out, then he killed himself. Period. I'm with you there. Joe's from Trips Park. He should know. Anybody from Trips Park should know. Yeah, I mean, and again, I want to go back and tell you, Trump's going to he's going to let people get to the bottom of this, the Epstein deal. He's going to eventually release the documents. I don't think he's foolish enough to not do it. But he wants the attention on him, not on this pedophile sicko. I get that. Trump said it. And I don't think he was lying. I don't think he was. Look, there's never a false utterance about what he's feeling and thinking. He tells it straight up. And that's what he said. Enough of Jeffrey Epstein already. Let's talk about how great I am. And there's a lot of validity to that, too, because the idiots in the media, the Dummycrats, would love to talk about anything else but Donald Trump. And I think that the revelations that they discovered were, besides those that they had to heavily redact, as unfair to people who were more innocently involved with Jeffrey Epstein. And again, I remember what I asked yesterday, and this is what I want to know. I am not so concerned about the money that went out of Jeffrey Epstein's accounts. I want to know the money that came in and how he accumulated $500 million in wealth. Where did that come from? That will tell you more than anything else about this sicko's life. Now, again, what appears to me regarding Epstein is that he may have been blackmailing people. Real possibility. But he also may have been procuring for sickos, wealthy sickos, and getting paid to do it. He also could have been being paid by Israeli intelligence and American intelligence to set up these wealthy people, making them vulnerable for the very same agencies who would then say, hey, guess what? We need information from you. We need you to tell us about such and such. We need you to do this. So I think it was a circular scam that this disgusting person was running, Epstein. Between intelligence agencies, wealthy individuals internationally, and these poor young girls who were all their victims. And God knows, boys too. Who knows? And but going back to the point, I think they believed early on that there was going to be massive documentation of people that the Trump gang doesn't like. I don't think they're covering up for some people they like. I really don't. But I think there could be massive information. There isn't massive information on people as they suspected there was, and they found out there wasn't. So we'll see. They overpromised, and they knew they were going to underdeliver. Well, now you got to deliver. Whatever you have, right, wrong, or indifferent, just do it, and let's get this disgusting piece of garbage out of the way. We'll take a break and be back. Forgot to play something yesterday that we have to play when we return. John Fogerty, Murph tells us this date in 2010, he played his song center field at the induction ceremonies for baseball's Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York. How great a song is that? Now, the garbage was not picked up before I came to work yesterday, so the Bulldog and I forgot to play this in tribute to our great DPW in Scranton and all the DPWs in Northeast Pennsylvania. We love you. But I got home, and right as rain, they had picked up my garbage, taken it away, and we could start the new week fresh. That's our man. So we play that song in tribute to all of your DPW workers. We're back, and let's go quick. Mike from Duryea on Epstein. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing? I just got done playing golf. It's getting hot out there, I'll tell you.
Yes.
It is. Watching all this stuff going on, even on Trump's first presidency, I mean, it's a disgrace that our senators and congressmen will actually stand there at their podiums and badmouth people. Like I was watching Schumer this morning, and he was calling everybody a liar. I mean,
he's a
people
disgrace.
are listening to.
He's a sickening disgrace.
It's not a question of that. It's that it should be against the rules of like even Shifty Schiff was telling everybody on the news that Trump was Russian collusion.
Yep.
I mean, it's horrible how they just get out and spew stuff. Even Booker from New Jersey, they come out and say stuff that,
we're talking about a Lackawanna County commissioner, the mayor Scranton, anybody on the left. You have to lie, and you have to be a hypocrite to maintain the insane positions that they maintain.
It should be against the law. I don't know why nobody even brings this up. It should be against the law.
Mike, they actually have immunity if it's in the performance of their jobs. So it's
to say you're a liar.
To say whatever they want. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Is that true? No kidding.
Yes.
That's crazy, though. I mean, I had to call up and say that. I mean, I just can't believe that they get away with, whether it's the judge being, and then after he badmouthed everybody in the government, they're a liar on that side, and he's a Trump backer and this and that, and he cleaned up all of Trump's garbage. I mean, but the way they say it, it's horrible. And then he jumped right to the Trump judge that he's going to, I guess, nominate, and he was badmouthing him like he was dirt. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know.
These left-wing Democrats are awful, awful people. They're bad.
Oh my God!
People.
It's I don't understand. I still don't understand. What is their objective? I mean, they got to be communists or something.
Power. Their objective is power
money.
and being on the top of the structure. That's
money. It. I guess they're getting money. I imagine somehow, some type of kickback. I mean,
how'd Chuck Schumer become worth $50 million when he's been a congressman or senator since 1978? How'd he become worth $50 million? It's crazy.
It is when you think about it.
Hey, guess what's on? 3 Dog Night. Mama told me not to come. So we're going to take that out. Thank you, Mike. Love this song. Love this band. Murph says this date, 1970, 3 Dog Night moved up to number 2. Wonder if they ever got to number 1 with Mama Told Me Not to Come. Oh, I love that. Man. Hey, Babylon B. Top 10 fallback jobs for all the laid off IRS workers. There's thousands of them. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for them at all. Pretty much any job at the DMV. Number 2, alternative. You can become a mugger. Jumping out of a dark alley to demand all of someone's money sounds about right. Number 3, fill-in host of CBS's The Late Show. Number 4, proctologist. Another job that's perfect for someone accustomed to probing people in the most uncomfortable and invasive ways possible. Number 5, middle management on the Death Star. 6, summer spot on the host panel for ABC's The View. Number 7, replacement jobs for the fired IRS workers. Serial killer. Number 8, goon for cartoonish supervillain. Number 9, where do the fired IRS workers go? CIA interrogator. Waterboarding can't be that much worse than being audited. And number 10, Jehovah's Witness missionary. And then Hulk Hogan makes surprise entrance to heaven, challenging Jacob to a wrestling match. The Babylon Bee. Hey, we got to finish up. I almost forgot-y. Policeman's prayer. Think of our cops this weekend. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat. Protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge. Protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. And they'll be out there this weekend for you, for me. Tomorrow never comes. Norma Cornett Merrick reminds us of our friend Doreen Goriab, who had this in her obituary. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and a kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike. And today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much. You'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Reach out, old friends, family, maybe somebody you have a problem with. Do it. We see in our lives, people, they're gone. Here today, gone tomorrow. And that might include us one of these days. Have a great weekend, gang. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 12:01 and 34, which means I've got to go. And we've got to gavel to close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you Monday. St. Anne's Day tomorrow. The novena today and tomorrow. Amazing stuff. St. Joe's Festival all weekend. Have a great one, guys.